3 episodes in, and I'm ready to call it. Season 4 might be the best Invincible has given us yet. More events, higher stakes, and a clear sense that the show finally knows exactly what it wants to be. In this video, I'll break down every episode that's out, so spoilers ahead, obviously. Quick personal note, I got into Invincible around the end of 2025 through the Nolan vs. Mark meme. Then Season 3 hooked me completely, especially the Conquest fight. So coming into Season 4, I had one main question: what happens next with him? And it turned out weird. So the first episode is really slow paced. Not much happens, it's mostly just exposition. So Mark is depressed he has caused so many deaths, even though it's only indirectly his fault. Like Conquest would have slammed him either way. And Variants, yeah, he's actually kinda guilty here. They did too much damage.
Amateur.
There are two of you?
Not for long.
You got that right.
And if it wasn't enough, he has a dinner with Eve's family. And of course, there is the father, whose whole character is just being an asshole. And it's like, you care about Eve, right? I think so. I hate that she's with you. She almost died, but she always gets on top, just like me. But because of you, she was torn by that maniac. But that wasn't my fault. Maybe. But she almost died because of you. It's almost like I'm watching a schizophrenic talking to himself. No one could actually stand this dialogue, and so Mark gets gloomier. He almost kills a dinosaur, who I read was supposed to be important. You know, he's just a dinosaur. Well, we'll see. There's a line with the Sequids, or as I like to call them, Squidwards, which has started 3 seasons ago and has finally come to an end. Or not. So because of the Squidwards, Mark is forced to kill an astronaut. He just kills him, and that's about it. That is the whole thing that's gonna bother him in the next episode. Or the episode after that, actually. I've got one problem with it though. So the whole scene is just kinda weirdly framed, so it's shown that Invincible is looking somewhere. Logically, it would be him looking at this guy. But then, why does he just stand there? Why can't he throw the body or, at the very least, fly closer along with it? Or maybe he was just looking somewhere else and didn't see that guy. Both cases are possible, both are weird. There's also the killing the astronaut thing. I think it's kinda dumb. And not the killing, of course, that was a smart decision. The depression or the gloominess is what concerns me. Why does he care about this one guy so much? He has killed many more people before. Of course he didn't kill him directly, but are we actually comparing thousands of deaths to one just done with your fist?
Fisting is $300.
Here's one phrase that sums up my opinion on this topic.
Oh, why is everybody so upset about these guys?
The other thing that happens is the Guardians of the Globe become the Guardians of the Globe. And then robots, or Rudies, or Raxus, giant adolescent balls are so huge, he asks to be a leader right in front of the leader.
My intellect combined with...
No.
Is Invincible now a comedy? They also made the sex joke 2 times in this episode.
Yeah, you and Mom make almost as much noise as Mark and Eve, and I never say anything.
I guess it is a comedy. There's also this one occasion villain who's probably supposed to be something bigger later. As for now, I'll just read the wiki. Full name, unknown. Other names, Universa. Gender, female. Species, unknown. Appearance, to be added. Personality, to be added. History, blank space. Background, Universa's past remains largely unknown. Arrival on Earth, to be added. Powers and abilities, blank. The wiki editors truly outdid themselves this time.
Bravo. Bravo.
The fight is also weird. He just doesn't finish her off, even though he could. I guess it's a gag that he gets beaten by everyone, so whatever. And of course, the most waited, the most hype moment, Conquest wakes up. But before that, I'll just play this Season 3 clip.
If he so much as twitches, this whole place explodes. And as soon as he regains consciousness, he's gonna tell us everything about the Viltrum Empire.
As a result, no one was monitoring he woke up, the whole place exploded, but that doesn't matter. And yeah, they didn't ask him a single question, they just let him go free.
Shit.
And that outro. I told you it's a comedy now. The second episode wasn't much different though. The first 15 minutes, yes, they are serious, they are dark, they are gloomy. The rest, not so much. So the first part, the backstory of Viltrumites, and we are greeted by Mark. No, seriously, whoever designed young Nolan's appearance is a genius. He looks almost identical to Mark, but his son actually has some Asian features, due to his mother being an Asian. Okay, actually Nolan also has Asian features, he just lost them with time. So they're talking about this Emperor Argol, who has the only Viltrumite statue, because he reunited the Viltrumites and he was killed by the Betrayer. Sure, why not? Nolan says these kids will fight tomorrow, and at least 2 of them will die, but I know who will not for sure, and that is this Black Megamind. No, seriously, what's with your forehead? What are you storing there? You can't even answer a simple question.
You. Why was the Purge a blessing?
I
gotta say, this series really loves blood and gore, and Nolan's fight with his parents really proves it. Weird how his face wasn't just mush like Conquest's. The next 5 minutes is probably the most impressive scene in season 4 so far. Just straight horror and absolute cinema. The whole empire gets plagued by the Scourge virus, which kills almost everyone, and the survivors are weakened. Real talk though, 2 things bug me here. First, why are they hiding Thrak's personality here? He's been in every single trailer, and he even has a trailer of his own. It's pretty clear who the Grand Regent is. Well, maybe it was to make the final scene hit harder, but that's for later. The second problem is that the Viltrumite's greatest secret is that there are less than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites, and they're trying to keep this secret so hard that they blatantly show billions and billions of their dead people as a ring around their planet. Looks impressive as hell, but logically, not so much. They could have at least tried to burn the bodies at some star or whatever, or if they couldn't do this, there was no star or it was too far, they could have at least mentioned it. By the way, yes, this is his dad being dead. Oh god. The rest of the episode is genuinely just a sitcom. Like, you may have thought it was an epic adventure of Nolan and Alan. In reality, they go to this wreck that barely holds up, and like every other scene is just breaking or crashing, with a captain that is called the Captain, and looks like Humpty Dumpty from Puss in Boots, and that's not a compliment. And then because the Captain thought they wanted a threesome, he says there's only one accommodation, and this happens.
It'll be fine. I've slept in far worse places than...
When I first saw it, I bursted out laughing, but then it happened again. And again. And again. Now is the transition between their adventures. Up until this point, this scene actually felt like Family Guy, but unlike there, this actually had consequences. So the reason they weren't able to get one of these creatures was because Humpty Dumpty decided to destroy the disc that blocked the sunlight. Or not the sun, whatever. He decided to do this because he quote-unquote owed Nolan, in every sense of the word. I don't really get it. Where is the connection? Like, Nolan asked them to move the disc, and removing the disc was like a bigger deed in the captain's eyes. Yeah, this is definitely something out of Family Guy. The obvious question here is also, how are these Ragnars so strong? It's explained and there is a huge gravity on this planet. That's it. They're just that strong. They also beat Conquest in the flashbacks, but that was because he was weakened from the Scourge virus. The virus that Theodas produced. And I'm not sure why is Nolan so shocked at this. Wouldn't it make sense that the Betrayer betrayed him once again? Besides the Ragnar's fail, they kinda got this guy with a super dangerous weapon on their team. They got a few bugs with a compound that weakens Viltrumites. They tried to get a few of these creatures, who unfortunately were killed by Nolan, who moved their planet closer to their sun. Then they meet the Eldarians, who Viltrumites were unable to conquer because of their reduced numbers. They say there is a warrior on Earth that can help them. Then they try to find Battle Beast, but he is not on his planet. His people call him the champion, and this guy just says he can be found wherever there is blood and fire. Last time he was shown just floating in space. I wonder how they will find him. After all, he was in the trailer, along with everyone. At the end, Nolan says he's coming to get his son. And then, the final scene is Conquest being so sad. His mustache curves, he asks for death, and why was he so gleeful here? He was just gonna die anyway. Oh yeah, and the big reveal that the person sitting on the throne was Grand Regent Thrak. Wow. Okay, I gotta admit, they actually deceived me. He doesn't say this in the trailer.
Leave no one alive. You have work to do yet.
Overall, I'd say the episode is excellent, and it's probably the best out of the 3 released. Alright, the third and the most contentious one. Machine fucking Head and Titan are still here, and they're still relevant after 3 seasons. So the dragon who was supposed to be dead because Machine Head
Shot him in the fucking head!
is still kicking and cosplaying Hector Salamanca. And actually there was a scene in the 3rd season that just flat out showed how he survived. So Machine Head's like, either you join the order or it's your funeral. And unsurprisingly, the guy with the rock instead of his head chooses funeral. You know, it would be cool if he asked if Machine Head still knows this big cat guy who destroyed all the superheroes like it was nothing. You know, I would have asked that. Well, let's say he just forgot. Anyway, he probably thought Invincible would help. But here comes the first episode, and he is fucking depressed. That is what it all led to. That's why Oliver goes there and gets his cheeks clapped. It was a stump until Invincible arrived. Unfortunately, he arrives with a urine in the head. His eyeballs fail to work correctly, and he identifies Titan as the dragon. Seriously though, why did Mark just let the dragon go? And then he just attacks Titan.
You do not mess with my family!
Hey, do not mess with my family. Are you actually brain dead? You sent Oliver yourself there.
But whatever it is, I can do it. How much does this job pay?
This is the moment Mark becomes a dull, depressed, asshole prick who has the power to beat anyone. This is a not good combination. Is Mark an anti-hero now? Well, he's just mad that Eve lost her powers. Oh yeah, that part. Wah, I can't turn poop into gold anymore. Wah, I can't fly. Not only that, but apparently she has a flag of Finland in her bathroom. What is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Back to Titan, he joins the order. But before that, his whole family gets assassinated by I don't care who you are. Yes, this genius just walks around in the park with his wife and daughter. But he took a precaution. Yes, he hired 3 normal people to watch them. Yes, in a world where every second dog on the street is a superhero, he hired 3 normal people.
That guy, watch out. Smarter than you think, even for someone who's 50% rock.
I politely disagree. What else is there? Thraxins take a rematch, and it's really nothing special, up until the point where these two get stuck in the other world. That's gotta be pretty interesting. Maybe they can finally get their adult bodies there. And finally there is this line with Paul who's trying to move in with Debbie. I'm pretty sure you all know how this ends. Who will Debbie choose? A strong, successful, muscular, self-sufficient man, or Nolan? See ya.